Well, hello there, and welcome to day 4 of A Film a Day with Jordan Woodley. Today, I am beginning one of the numerous film lists that I have been given. To give you some context, a friend of mine, Rob Barrett, I will link to his channel in the description below, set me a challenge of watching a series of films that he prescribed to me. He himself has spent the last, year doing the very same thing as I'm doing, watching one film every day. However, he didn't document his. But he gave me a list of films that he thought would help advance my film curriculum. And the first one that I've chosen to watch is the Woody Allen film Deconstructing Harry. So, as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, there are major gaps in my film knowledge, as I'm sure everyone would say. There isn't a single person, I think, who wouldn't have some gaps somewhere, and Woody Allen is definitely one of those places for me. I have seen several of his recent output, including Midnight in Paris or Café Society, but the quintessential Woody Allen films of the 90s and early noughties, I really just haven't gotten round to up to this point. And I have to say, I was very impressed. I really understand how people connect with the text of Woody Allen and the core understanding and psyche of characters that he manages to achieve through his quite extensive dialogue work. On the occasions when I have done script writing, one of the big challenges I've always found is dialogue, and really, creating rich characters has always been quite challenging in terms of, how they communicate with each other, how they express what they're holding back. And I think Woody Allen, at his core, really understands people. Yesterday, when I was talking about his house, I said that with horror, you really have to get to the psychological core of people and express what is going on inside their psyche externally. And I remarked how what that film achieved was that I'm empathised with the struggles of a refugee couple, nothing I have any experience of, and really connected to their horrific experience and their psychological struggle. What I think Woody Allen does similarly is he manages to allow you to enter the psyche of someone who you really don't have any sympathy for. Harry Block, who is the lead character, is a writer who essentially is your archetypical self-destructive creative. You see his treatment of women, you see his abuse of pills, you see his neurosis, which is very consistent with Woody Allen's characters, that he really he's not a nice guy. He's the kind of character who you would be able to talk to, but when you really get to the core of it, you go, this person is not necessarily a good person, and yet you really engage with him. You really want to know how, from a character like him, that he's able to create these interesting stories. The narrative style, and I won't go too much into the plot because it's very hard to get to grips with and explain the plot of Deconstructing Harry, because it's very much about his life, but then also expressed through his stories. So the way the narrative works is we'll have a scene with him in real life that will transition into a story where there is a character played by a different actor like Billy Crystal or Bill Murray and that character is essentially Woody Allen's character, and they're going through a story. For instance, you have Bill Murray's character, who is a man, who is an actor, who, for some reason, he's starting to he literally lose focus, as in the people looking at him can't focus on him. And you go through several stories that this character, Harry Block, has written, and you'll transition, and sometimes it'll be Harry himself playing that character. Sometimes you'll just know that this character is someone who is embodying his story, and sometimes we reach a point where characters start to step out of their stories and talk to his character. So it's a rather layered and textured thing that really is, I wouldn't do it any justice by trying to walk through it. But as I say, the main core of it is his character and his relationships with people. You know, you see his relationships with women, his sex addiction, you see his relationship with his family and how that's really broken down, you see his relationship with his friends, and you see his relationship with even things like his Jewish faith or lack of Jewish faith. And you do engage with this guy. You might not like him, but you engage with him and you want to know about him. And again, I think that is what I imagine Woody Allen's talent is. As I continue this, hopefully I will keep coming back to more of his films and I will get a richer understanding of him during this period. What I think Deconstructing Harry, and I am speculating now, it really breaks down the meta text of Woody Allen himself. Now, I wouldn't want to speculate on who he is as a person, and I wouldn't want to get into his personal life, but what I think Deconstructing Harry was attempting to do is meld the line between the creator and the created. So in the way that Harry, as a character, has created fictional characters, I think Woody Allen has created Harry, and the lines between Woody, Harry, these protagonists who are clearly still this same character, all start to merge. When I was watching the film, I started to think about films that clearly have drawn from the Woody Allen style, but had taken it into different genres. The self-destructive creative is not a unique premise, but I think about things like BoJack Horseman or Anomalisa, and these ideas of these characters who, because they're so self-destructive and so wrapped in their experience, that they start to destroy the people around them or alienate the people around them. And I am interested in that kind of character, but again, I don't necessarily like them. So I have to say, I can see the seeds of this leading into those films, film, TV series, and films. But yeah, I was very impressed with this. It was very much a snapshot of that time period as well, with the all-star cast. And again, I really would like to delve more into Woody Allen of that period and 90s films of that period. So again, I shall see you tomorrow for the next film. Thank you for joining me.